I wanted to give you different creators, some folks who could literally teach you tactics, some folks who could teach you more about a journalistic approach, some folks who could inspire you based off of their lived experience and their spiritual guidance. And the next few folks we're going to talk about are folks who really talk about the money. Peace, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Evolve Benton, the Speaking for Profit strategist. And on this channel, we talk about how to monetize what you know and get financially free. Today, we're going to have a discussion about the top 10 creators to learn from on YouTube in 2025. This is all from my own personal experience of learning how to make money online, learning how to utilize digital products to create impact out in the world, strategizing around increasing my income during the COVID pandemic, and so much more. So, the creators that I'm going to share with you today, I just want you to know that this is my opinion. These are people that I learned from. And when I think about being a learner, I am a type of person who enjoys demonstration, also enjoy learning from people who bring excitement to their work and who really love it. And I enjoy learning from folks who I know grew up in similar backgrounds and experiences than I did. But you'll see on my list that there is a variety and a diversity of folks, and I'm excited to get into it. So I'm going to share with you my top 10. This is not in any order, but these are the folks that have taught me so much. And I want to share with you who they are, a little bit how you can find their work. And then also, I'll share some of their YouTube channels because they're all on YouTube. So this is all about the top 10 creators that you can learn from when it comes to financial freedom and when it comes to monetizing what you know. So the first person that I want to share and shout out is the one and only Nicky Saunders. And Nicky and I met a couple of years ago when I was actually looking for someone to really teach me how to become more consistent with creating content and becoming a creator in that way. I have a background of being a poet and using my voice as a public speaker and as a teacher and a facilitator. But what Nicky really taught me was the power of being a creator and calling that in and manifesting that. What I love about Nicky's work in particular is that it really is foundational when you think about how to utilize AI. And Nicky spends so much time within her content also talking about the power of being an introvert and how to utilize that power within your content. So many teachers focus on the extrovert. So I really appreciate that Nicky has dedicated time and energy to spend time with the introverts. The other thing that Nicky does a great job of is showcasing and showing us all how we can build our own type of memberships or subscription businesses. So when I first found Nicky, I joined her community Deeper Than the Brand, and that was an ongoing membership space. And recently, Nicky did a great job of promoting this Lions behavior movement. I'm a Leo, so I could really fall in love with anything that's connected to lions, as you could kind of see in my background. But through that program and that membership and that tribe, Nicky put out an exclusive hat that you'll see here in the background to anyone who joined Lions Behavior. And Nicky spends so much time exploring the lives of various entrepreneurs. But one thing that we both have in common is our love for Nipsey Hussle, our love for the Los Angeles hustler. And as a native from Los Angeles, I really appreciate the way that Nicky studies and loves on Nipsey Hussle and his brilliance. So shouts out to you, Nicky. I appreciate you. And if you all want to check it out, you can see her channel here, a great channel to research. Let's look at some of the things that Nicky has going on here. I'm just going to share my screen real quick. Number one, if you're thinking about, I want to set up my own YouTube channel, I love to look at YouTube channels and see the branding and see how aesthetic and beautiful they are. And Nicky has some great branding. Nicky has grown several YouTube channels and has a connection also to Eric Thomas, the motivational speaker, and has helped with documenting some of his work and being an amazing content creator over on that channel. Also, before doing a solo YouTube channel, Nicky had a channel called Nicky and Moose with another creator, and they put out some great stuff as well. So Nicky's done this a couple of times, right? And I think we all can look at this as creators. It's like, how do we get better? And how we get better is by learning from people who've done what we want to do on numerous different levels. So yeah, if you go over to Nicky's page, you'll see a lot around AI, also CapCut, TikTok, content creation, has a section called the content corner. But yeah, Nicky does some amazing work. So that would be the number one creator that I would shout out that I hope you all would check out that you can learn from in 2025. Number two on the list is Arlan Hamilton. Arlan Hamilton, and shouts out to Arlan. I want to tell this quick story to you all. I was actually in San Diego by way of visiting Mexico for a house build. And I met up with one of my mentors, Doug, Doug Broughton, and he invited us out to go and support one of his initiatives, which is a percentage of the money that he makes from his online business. He actually contributed to doing house builds in Mexico. So he invited me and some colleagues out. We went to build the house. It was great. And anytime I'm close to Los Angeles, I'm gonna make my way there. So since we were in Mexico, we drove through the border back to San Diego after the house build. I was like, I gotta get to LA and spend some time with my folks. So when I get back to LA, I realized that the Your First Million conference is happening in downtown LA, near Staples Center. I'm staying with one of my best friends in downtown. I'm like, oh, the conference is happening. It would be cool. But when I look online, I'm like, hey, I didn't get the early bird ticket, right? These tickets definitely aren't cheap, but I want to have the opportunity to go through. So what I did was I was looking on the page and I was looking on Arlen's page, and what Arlen put up was like, hey, if you're interested in coming, we're giving out a certain amount of tickets. Just send me this message or send me this DM. I got a Google Doc where or Google form where I was able to put some information and I got some tickets. So I was able to go to the event. I purchased the book and got it signed by Arlen, which was amazing. And we got to take a picture, which you'll see here. And what I really learned from that was like the power of manifestation in the moment, but also the power of people truly living into their brand. And that's what Arlen is all about. Arlen has an amazing story that you can check out, but is an investor, has helped start many companies. But Arlen shares a story within her book about how she went to her first Janet Jackson concert. She's a lover of Janet Jackson. You'll know that if you want to look up her Arlen fact. But she went to her first concert. And when she got to the concert, she received an upgrade and some tickets and was able to sit closer because Janet had found random seats, right, out in the audience and upgraded some folks. So for her, now she takes that into her business. And she's like, anytime I'm hosting an event, I'm going to make sure that I leave some tickets to be upgraded, to be gifted. And she's brought that magic from the work that she was able to do and the concert she was able to go to with Janet Jackson into her own business. So if you're looking for someone who you want to learn how to grow memberships with, how to grow a YouTube channel with, how to become an investor and not just a person who works in your business, how to think about the strategies around making more money, Arlen is your person. And what I love about Arlen's YouTube channel is it's grown pretty quickly, but within her community that I'm a part of, All Access, and I'll be sure to share the link to that community in the description of this video. But within that community space, Arlen showcases case studies around how she's particularly building her YouTube channel and how she's having success. So you could really use her channel as a model on how you want to grow your business. So if you see here, this is Arlen's page. If you're listening on the podcast, then I would suggest going to YouTube, watching, and liking and subscribing. But if you are watching us on YouTube, you'll see that immediately we see Arlan here with her books, right? Showcasing her credibility and her expertise as an author. And I really love this video. Arlan does a good job of planting the seed about what this channel is about in her trailer, right? And this might actually be something that is new. Look, it's 3 weeks. She actually dropped a new book, which she dropped in her community first. And when she dropped it within the community, we got free access to it, right? So she really does a great job of working with folks to have them commit to being in the community, but also adding those perks there as well. So please check out Arlen's channel and also support her work. And also just check out Arlen's All Access. I am a part of the community. I recently joined, but I've gotten already so many benefits from it. And when I learn from creators, y'all, this is what I do. Usually I will find someone on YouTube and or meet them out in the world, then go to your YouTube, digest a lot of information, and then if they have a call to action that fits within my learning pattern, what I need right now, and the budget, I'll join it. Right. So I love Arlen because she has this community. It's $100 a month to date of this video, but she also has other aspects and programs as well as you scale, as you become more developed. But also, those programs give you more access to her. But the information is so fruitful. It's so fruitful. I'll actually show you just so you could see it because I think this is a good kind of like behind the scenes, right? Not since I'm in the community, just to share with you so you could see a few of the things that are actually in the space. So this is the all access community within the classroom. Of course, there's a start here, there's a foundations, and then you get to decide for yourself based off of the foundations. What we're trying to do is build an ecosystem that makes $100,000 a year. So that is what Arlen breaks down in this community as of today, as of this recording. But what she asks you in the foundations is, do you want to major in YouTube and minor in communities or memberships? She calls them memberships. Or do you want to major in memberships and minor in YouTube? Either way it goes, right? Which one do you want to focus on? And then she has different modules that show you how to focus on that. So if you were focusing on YouTube, you would start with YouTube. And if you were focusing on memberships, you would start with memberships. But she also has all these other amazing trainings in here as well, which are really great. So if you're interested in a community space and you are interested in particularly growing your income through YouTube or a membership, then I would definitely suggest checking out Arlen's All Access. It's amazing. And if not, at least start with the YouTube channel and wet your whistle and decide if that's something that you want to learn more about. So, number two, the creator that I would suggest, and that's my top creator to learn from in 2025, would be Arlan Hamilton. If you are picking up what I'm putting down and this is helpful for you in your life and your business, do me a favor, just go on and like and subscribe. This helps us to continue to produce amazing content on this channel and also connect with more people just like you who are wanting to get financially free and learn how to monetize what they know. All right, so let's get in on to number three, y'all. Number three on my list is Omar Eltakrori. Omar Eltakrori. And the way that I found Omar is so interesting. There's a couple of ways. Omar has taken off on YouTube in the last year and really done some great work around supporting people with making money on YouTube, but also just like really taking us into the mind, thoughts, and energies of other creators and other business owners. So, what I love about Omar's channel in particular is that he brings on guests and he explores, but then he also takes us on this like behind the scenes look at all the content that he's creating and the way he's looking at his YouTube analytics and really getting into deep with that. But the way that I found Omar, I was watching YouTube and I was watching Think Media. Shouts out to Sean Canal. He's the founder of Think Media. And Think Media really shows you like how to set up your room for optimization when creating a YouTube channel, some things around monetizing, but what I was looking for was like, I have this room here. How do I make it look good on camera, right? And I love what I have set up. I'm sure it will get better as we grow. But Omar's videos I really resonated with, the way that he taught, his language, the simplicity of it. And then so I seen him there. I actually seen him on the channel, and I wasn't even aware of his name because Think Media is so driven by Think Media. But then he did another interview with someone else, and they started saying his name. I said, "Okay, I know his name is Omar." But what's so funny is I was in another creator program, and one of the creators were in his mastermind. And then I was like, "Oh, this guy has a mastermind." So this was before he even had a YouTube channel. So I looked up his name and I seen, "Oh, he's got a YouTube channel he's starting. It's called The Department. Let me check it out." But then fast forward a few months later, one of my clients was in his mastermind as well. So it was like, I'm getting closer and closer to this Omar guy. So I can't wait to meet him in the flesh. But what I really appreciate about Omar and what you can learn from him is all about YouTube growth strategies and how to be a phenomenal interviewer. He is so good at really not even pulling because it's very gentle, but guiding stories out of people. He is a man of God. He's a biblical man, so he draws back in the Bible, which I think is just a phenomenal way of connecting with the folks he's speaking with, but also connecting with his audience, which are folks of the faith, right? So he's just really, really great at interviewing. So if you are wanting to become a better interviewee or interviewer and you want to watch some great conversations, he's really good at that. And then if you want to learn about like how to really read your YouTube analytics, how to have growth within your YouTube channel, he is the person that you want to go to. So here's his page for reference. Great branding. I love it. Uh, his show is called like the Video Department, which I think is on brand because the start of his journey was very much like behind the scenes and putting together these videos and not really being in the front. But he has the video department with him. These are mostly interviews and then popular videos. One of the things that he shares on his YouTube channel that I am considering doing is he says that you shouldn't mix shorts and long form video. For now, we have short and long form video on our channel. But moving forward, I think I'm just going to stick to long form for a little while and see how that goes. And then we could potentially move into creating a channel that's all about shorts. Just something that I'm going to try and I'll see how the analytics work. But that's Omar's point of view. Try it and see if it works for you. And he just shares what really works for him. So that's Omar. Number 4 on the list is actually a bunch of people. It's really a type of podcast more than one, but this is number 4 that I think we can all really learn from, and it's mainly because it's a trend, but it's also because it's a group of people who have to go through particular training to be really good at conversations, and that's like athletic podcasts. So many athletes right now between Draymond Green, Angel Reese, Shaq have podcasts, have these sit down conversations. And it's really them utilizing their celebrity and their journey, right? Because we want to know the behind the scenes of their storytelling to be able to hear from them and see them in a different light. As a person now, I wonder what it would have been like to grow up and for Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan or these people that really seemed mysterious at the time. Even Serena Williams at that time, when I was growing up, I'm an OG for folks who don't know. But when I was growing up, if it would have been cool to see them interview and have conversations of their own. Oftentimes, when we did see these folks, it was about like kind of like a reality TV, a paparazzi, but never the celebrity owning their own message and being the new media, right? As Draymond Green would say in that way. So what I think you can learn from some of these celebrity athletic podcasts is one, discipline. Many of these folks are able to pick up this skill of podcasting and doing it consistently because they already have a very disciplined lifestyle. They're getting up every morning for practice. They're getting up every day for interviews. They're showing up for games, 80 games a year, right? They're already committed to a practice. So you'll be able to watch them. Like if you watch probably even Draymond Green's first interview compared to now, you'll see that he's so much better with holding space and with interviewing. And then you have folks like Uncle Shannon Sharp, who started off really being a guest on someone else's show and then really has built his own platform. And you could just see how, as an interviewer, as an interviewee, as a speaker, he has really gotten a lot better. He also knows when to ram up some drama and how to really plant conversations in a particular way. So I think what we can learn from them is discipline, but also the craft around being an amazing speaker and what that takes. And that's why I said, look at some athletic podcasts. Angel Reese has one, and I think her show is great just because she's speaking to primarily a lot of women, a lot of Black women, and showcasing those stories as well. Not just women, but that's primarily who you'll see on her show. Now, I know there's some people who are watching this who are like, Evolve, yes, athletic podcasts are dope, but they should just shut up and dribble, or they should just shut up and play. I know there's going to be some folks like that in the comments because we're not used to seeing athletes in this particular way. But I think we should value them holistically. And I'm for them having the journey and a life outside of their sport where they're able to tell their story. I mean, I am the speaking for profit strategist, so I would be for it. I'm going to take a moment to interrupt this video to tell you about something that I am so excited about. I had the opportunity to join Alex Hormozi and Sam Ovens in one of their most phenomenal projects, which is School. On School, I have a community that will teach you how to create, monetize, and deliver your signature talk. A signature talk, I want you to think about it this way. It's like the Beyonce method. Beyonce comes out with one album that we all love, and she commits to doing it around the world, and she goes on tours. She does a great job. I want that for you. I want you to be able to create a signature talk that you can deliver thousands of times and get paid to do it. So if you're a public speaker, a consultant, and you know you have a message that can change the world, this is a gift for you. The Profitable Speaker Circle. This is a space with the most diverse speakers from around the world, learning together, supporting one another, and getting on stages and in boardrooms around the world. So click the link in the description. It will take you right over to our school community, and you can get started with that course. Within that community, we also have two other aspects. One, you'll be able to become an affiliate. So if you have other folks out in the world who you know who are public speakers who need to work on their signature talks, get on more stages, you can invite them as well, and we're going to give you a kickback. The other thing is, beyond just the training on your signature talk, we have a 5-day challenge, and we have a monthly live space where you can share your speech. So join the Profitable Speaker Circle, click the link below, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this video. All right, peace. So that's going to be number 4 on the list, athletic podcasts. And a few that I love, of course, is Draymond Green's show. I love Gil's Arenas show, even though they do a lot of yelling and arguing. It just makes me feel like I'm at home with my uncles in the background, Angel Reese. So those are a few of the folks. So the next person, creator that you can learn from in 2025 to take your business, your communication skills to the next level is Racquel Willis. And she is an amazing Black trans activist and journalist, has done some amazing work around trans liberation, but she recently started posting on YouTube. I don't know, when she posted her video, she was like, I don't know how consistent I'm gonna be with this, but I'm gonna do it, right? And I'm going to her channel now because I want to see what the name of the show is. I think it's Leading in the Moment. It's something like that. I cannot remember, and I don't want to butcher it, but I will show you her page so that you can check it out. Now, what I appreciate about her in particular as a creator is she's a journalist. So she's very much telling her stories and speaking into the camera speaking on YouTube in the sense of I'm coming from a journalistic point of view. And I think some of you who are watching now might have that in your background. I know I went to school for communications for college. I wrote in the school newspaper. I did some reporting. So there's a particular way and a way that we as communication folks, as media, want to talk about particular conversations. And I think that she's amazing at that. But she is also just a great creator. She knows how to hold a conversation. She knows how to really speak in this phenomenal way that draws you in and keeps your attention. But because of the political climate and where we are in history, she's also brave. So brave to share such a story right now and to not be erased and to not be put in a box where she can't speak. She's using her own platform. And we're going to see many journalists doing that. I mean, we've seen here in the US, it's 2025, several reporters, journalists, photographers that work for major media companies getting laid off, getting fired, their shows being put on late at night, and then it's saying, hey, we're going to get rid of your show because of low ratings. And what happens? Folks are just creating their own platforms. So I think what she represents is journalists similar to athletes creating their own space to tell their stories and not relying on the system or larger media to dictate the stories that they can tell. So I really appreciate her. I am excited about her work and I hope that she continues to produce this show and this conversation. And this is her page right there. Of course, a beautiful picture, very simple. And I'm excited to see how she will continue to grow and continue to grow her platform. So that is number 5 on the list. Next, we're in our activism and journalism bag. So I wanted to bring in Deshon, who is a radio host, an amazing journalist, doing some great work as well, telling the stories, telling queer stories in a way that is so powerful and transformative, but also helping people to see themselves when it comes to the media. Yeah, Anna's platform is E3 Radio, and it's a radio show. E3 Radio is an online radio station playing queer music and reporting on queer news and intersectional lenses. So I love this work in particular because it highlights the people that I love and I love seeing in media, but also it's told from the story of the community. So many times when we hear about LGBT stories, queer stories, they're very much told from the lens of either the extreme conservative Republicans here in the US or Democrats or whoever, independents, but never from the actual community's language, mouth, and story. So she did this really cool thing where she went to Creating Change, which is a larger national LGBT conference here, and really engaged with the audience and did interviews there and captured so many stories. So I just really appreciate her and one thing that I know that can be taught in this conversation is the power of consistency and the power of controlling your own news. That's really what E3 radio represents. We can have our own media. We can have our own news, and honestly, when I wake up in the morning, I wanna go to this kinda news instead of news that is consistently bad and negative. So, really appreciate what you're doing, fam. Thank you so much for creating, and if you all wanna learn how to put together not just a YouTube channel, but think about radio and connecting on the audio level, an amazing platform to follow. But if you want to learn about going out and getting stories, like being an active reporter where you're leaving the desk and going out into actual community, this is a perfect place to land and to follow. And you can see the page here. One of my homies right there, 2 a.m. Ricky, an amazing artist, is on there as well. So check out Anna Deshon and also check out the E3 platform. So that's number 6. We only got 4 more to go. And I hope you're writing down these names, taking a few notes, going and liking, subscribing. I really wanted to do a show like this because I think people often ask me, how do I know so much? And I don't really know a lot. I'm just surrounding myself with great mentors. And I think even if you don't have the ability to join all these courses and programs, YouTube University is a great place to learn from. And there's so many creators that are already doing the work and that have done a lot of the legwork. So for you, being able to go onto these channels, explore, and see what resonates with you so that you can continue to grow can be powerful. And it's for the free, right? YouTube access is for the free. So if it's helpful, please take the time right now, like, subscribe. It continues to let us grow. So now let's move into the final four top creators for you to learn from when it comes to monetizing your business and becoming financially free that you can find on YouTube. So the top, we already went through the top. We went through the first six. Now we're gonna go through the last four. First on that list is Light Watkins. Shouts out to Light Watkins, an amazing facilitator of space. And the next couple of people that we'll talk about on the list are really from that more spiritual guidance space. Because I personally believe in order for us to manifest what we want, we also have to have spiritual teachers along the way that teach us how to embody what we want to become and how to create amazing content. So I found Light Watkins years ago looking into other meditators who look like me. I was living in Los Angeles, and at that time, I believe Light was living there as well and was producing a lot of content around meditation. Used to do monthly meditation type of spaces and retreats. I never got to go out to any of them in person, but I made sure that I stayed connected. I joined the email list. I would watch the podcast and read the books. And then finally, about a year and a half ago, here in Atlanta, Georgia, where I live, Light posted that he was going to be here and leading his meditation retreat. So I was like, this is a great opportunity to work with him, to see his magic in person and to learn more of the concepts around really sitting and meditating. And it was such a powerful session. It was just so powerful to meet him in real life and to be able to connect with some of his principles. He's definitely one of those people where black don't crack. I can't remember how old Light is, but he probably looks 20, 25 years younger than that. And I think that is just because of the light he has in his life. One of the things that he shared during that meditation retreat was how he was living a life of minimalism and journeying the world, right? Going out in the world and taking only a backpack with him and making sure that his materials could fit into one backpack. And I thought that that was really powerful. But what I love about Light as a creator is that similar to Nicky, when you're thinking about the introvert and how to create content that is powerful but doesn't necessarily rely just on your voice, Light is great at that. So he does have a podcast and a YouTube channel, but I would also suggest checking him out on Instagram because he posts a lot of quotes from his book and from his talks and from various thoughts that he has. And he does a great job at utilizing that type of content and not just video, audio, extroverted content that's a little bit deeper. The other thing that light can really teach us is the power of grounding and being able to regulate our nervous systems and ourselves. He's really phenomenal at having conversations with his audience and answering questions. So he also has a weekly meditation he does on Wednesday that I believe is free as a part of his community as long as you went through one of his meditation retreats. But he will answer a question in a particular way. And sometimes these questions are about like productivity and creating content. And he really pushes back on capitalism and overworking yourself, which I'm always, y'all know me, make money with ease. I'm reminded every day from him, but also from other folks around me. And I just really appreciate Light. So let's go over to his page so you can see it. He's also a master facilitator and interviewer. So he has brought numerous folks on his channel to talk about meditation, to talk about transformation. And one of his faves that are my faves we'll talk about next, which is on my list. But his show, the Light Watkins show, is definitely very much interview focused. and talking about spiritual hygiene and habits and insecurities and self-doubt, and really opening up some of these conversations with people that you really admire. And then he also had a whole plot called The Spiritual Perspective with Light Watkins. I believe this is where he answers some of those questions that people may have about finances and personal growth. But yeah, I love his channel. And what I love here is like he's the star, right, of this channel. But then he has some of the amazing people he's interviewed around him to really add to the credibility of the conversations, but also the different people that you may connect with that he's been able to connect with as well. So love Light, love his work. Please check him out. And as we move through the list, right, our next person that we're focusing on, and these are top creators to learn from in 2025. I'm going to shout out Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, an amazing spiritual being, but also a creator as well, a creator of space. He has a church in Los Angeles called Agape Spiritual Center. When I lived in LA over 10 years ago, I would attend that church. Now that I'm in Atlanta with my wife, we watch it mostly every Sunday. Reverend Michael. Sometimes we gotta admit, sometimes some Sundays, right, we gotta watch the replay because things get busy, but we try to watch every Sunday. And when we're in Los Angeles, we will attend as well. But Reverend Michael does a great job, not just creating the space of Agape, his spiritual center online. I mean, that's what he has on YouTube, but he also has his own podcast and space where he creates. And some of the conversations that he has are very much solo conversations. Some of them are interviews, and he has a whole podcast that is really beautiful called Take Back Your Mind. So, what I've really learned from Reverend Michael in particular is how to spiritually and financially grow. And I think that as creators, we have to put that in our blueprint of success as well. We can't expect monetization and abundance without having some form of spiritual practice, something that really connects you with yourself and with your calling and with your why. Like, why are you doing this beyond just wanting to make money or to buy some material thing in capitalism? What really connects this to your spiritual self, to your spiritual practice, to your spiritual discipline, but also to the things that you came to this planet for? Like, what did you come to this planet for? And he's a creator, right? Like beyond that, he creates music, he creates conversations, he creates community, but he calls out the creator in all of us and really says that that is one of our main focuses. So I love his work in particular. I think he's phenomenal. And on his YouTube channel, it's very much connected to his brand, to joy. As you can see, he's smiling on most of the photos. He's done some videos. He has some shorts here. But when you search for Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, you're going to find so much because he has also explored one of the powerhouses that I think we all can, which is collaboration. And he's done books all the way back to a famous book called The Secret, to collaborations on other shows and podcasts. So it took me a while when I searched him on YouTube to find his channel because there's just so much fruitful information because he's been doing this over 30 years and he leads with collaboration and with love. So shouts out to Reverend Mike Bernard Beckwith. If you're needing a spiritual guidance, spiritual practice to connect to your work, and you also want to see how someone lives and breathes utilizing their message for abundance, I would suggest that you check him out. So we're getting to our final two, right? Remember, this was a top 10 list. I wanted to give you different creators, some folks who could literally teach you tactics, some folks who could teach you more about a journalistic approach, some folks who could inspire you based off of their lived experience and their spiritual guidance. And the next few folks we're gonna talk about are folks who really talk about the money, right? Because I think the people who teach us not only to make money, but what do we do once we acquire it are just as important on this journey. And we have many folks creating content around that. So the first show, this is a show. So we're not going to just call out the people on the show, but the first show I want to recognize is Brown Ambition. Shouts out to Tiffany and Mandy, Brown Ambition. And I believe Tiffany has moved on from the show now, but the show is still phenomenal. And what I appreciate about Brown Ambition in particular is they're having financial conversations, but their particular audience is brown and black women and non-binary folks who need to hear these messages around financial independence, around financial literacy, and ask the questions that you might feel uncomfortable talking to other people about. So people send in questions about credit card debt or about getting laid off from their job or about making financial mistakes. And they do a great job of answering those questions directly, but they also do a good job of showcasing you how you protect your intellectual property and protect yourself. So what I love about Brown Ambition is in the beginning, they'll say, hey, we are just two brown homegirls having a conversation. Make sure you get legal advice. Make sure you talk to a financial advisor. And I think that this is important. They're sharing what they know, and they're both amazing experts, but they're also always leaving the tips for you to take it a little bit deeper and for you to honestly go out and get that information, which is extremely important. I love their brand and I love what they stand for. And when my wife and I are on road trips, guaranteed that there's going to be a couple of episodes of Brown Ambition that is listened to. Now, what's different from Brown Ambition and a lot of the other creators that I'll share is that I've primarily listened to Tiffany and Mandy. I've been listening to them. I haven't really watched it on YouTube, but during the research for this episode, I was like, let me check out their YouTube channel. And they got some good stuff going on over there, right? I love the branding. It's so colorful. It's beautiful. It acknowledges the awards that they've won for the show. It's very much interview based. So there's a lot of conversations that happen. And they talk everything from thriving businesses to some of the governmental things that are impacting us, went based off of our economy through Q&A. So it's a great exploration of various financial topics. And as we begin to make more money as creators, putting our money in assets that continue to grow it are super important. So check out Brown Ambition. You can listen to it everywhere that you listen to podcasts, or you can watch an episode on YouTube. So the final one, and final doesn't mean it's number 10. Like I told y'all in the beginning of this episode, this is in no list of like number one, number two. Like it's not about the top. It's about everyone's at the top. Everyone are folks that I listen to consistently and that I appreciate. But number 10 on our list is EYL, Earn Your Leisure. Shouts out to Troy. Shouts out to Rashad. What's up to Ian? All the Leos out there in the building. But they have been really exploring financial literacy in the Black community, primarily the Black, I would say, men community, and talking about this topic around getting in the market, investing, understanding what's going on, understanding the political climate, the global political climate, just being really intentional. And I love their platform because they're consistent and they're creative. But what they've really created is not just one show. They really come from the play of creating a media empire. So when you go to their YouTube page, you don't just find information on Earn Your Leisure, which is one of their, top shows. The show that I was shouting out was actually Market Mondays, which is one of the shows that's under the platform, right? And that's the show that I watch consistently. But Earn Your Leisure is, I want you to think about it. It's the Harpo, right? From Oprah. It's the main entity. And then they have Market Mondays. They actually have a show called Earn Your Leisure. They have a few other shows, and they've branched out with other creators to help them use their platform to lift up their brand. So they've created a media company at play, and that's a lot different. Many of us have YouTube channels that are based off of our personal brand and one individual. This is based off of a whole ecosystem. And then they have various people that support with that. They have someone who comes in and talks about real estate, someone to come in and talk about credit, someone to come in and talk about cryptocurrency. So instead of saying, hey, we're the experts of everything, they're utilizing their network and growing from there. And most of the folks that they're going to always put on the screen are going to be brilliant Black folks that are sharing their stories. So I love their brand and I love what they stand for. And I appreciate that they are consistent. They consistently show up and they're showing us how to run the media play and they're always staying relevant. So they use pop culture, they use sports events, they use the events that they know are going to attract our ideal customer and client, which are Black men. And they're very unapologetic about that. I know some people say, "Hey, I wish they were a little bit more inclusive, wish they included more Black women," but they're very intentional. These are the folks and the stories that they wanna include, and I do appreciate that consistency and that proximity and being willing to do that good work. So that is another brand that you can learn from. One, when it comes to financial literacy, but really when you're looking at like, okay, how do I not just create one show, but how do I create a media empire where numerous people, numerous shows, numerous ideas under one platform can survive? Now, one thing I will share is they've been doing this a while. So we don't want to look at this and say, oh, this is easy. Let me just go copy and paste. We want to be intentional about it and really intentional about building relationships. If anything, I could see from the outside in that they are really great at that. So last on the list is Earn Your Leisure for the top 10 creators, right? That you should be following and learning from in 2025. Now, what I would love to hear from you in the comments is who are the creators that you're learning from? Shout them out, drop the links. I want the knowledge as well so I can check out some of their pages. I will drop as many links as possible to the folks that I mentioned in this video so that you can go and support their work. And I want to thank you for using your most valuable resource with me, which is your time. I appreciate you. I value you. And I hope that you are somewhere making money with ease, monetizing your message, and getting financially free. Until next video, peace.